We want revolution.
Bookmarkers on standby.
Log online, fan page loaded and ready.
Player stats, loaded. Health check, go.
Weapons check. Eyes check, complete.
We have launched for the Informant podcast in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Informant podcast. I'm Pistol Pete from Stockholm. This evening, I'm here with Jana, Death by Gucci, Jennifer, the Mafia Walls Loot Lady. How's it going?
It's good. How's it going with you?
It's alright.
Just blah.
Yeah, just kind of blah lately. Yeah, we're having some problems over at Spock with our servers.
Yeah.
That's just annoying, but, yeah. It is what it is.
Well, he was explaining that cloud server thingy to me.
Yeah.
And he was saying how the purpose of the cloud server is to not have, it never has downtime. But ironically, it did last night.
Yep.
I didn't really get it, but it sounded funny.
Mm-hmm.
And we like to say cloud.
The cloud. I dislike saying the cloud immensely.
I need to learn more about it.
I don't know, that's a sore spot for me. The cloud is just like this new buzzword in the world. It's just like all of a sudden everything's out in the cloud. Everything was in the cloud before. And it's just like now all of a sudden we've made it like this big deal. It just drives me crazy. So
Yeah, all I know is my cloud is full, and I don't know what to do with it now. I need a bigger cloud. Something.
So anyway, but yeah, I don't know. So
Well, you don't sound very upbeat or excited.
no, I'm not really.
Did you have a fun 4th?
Yeah, we had a good time on the 4th. We went out to the lake, and then the boat stalled, and we got stuck out in the middle of the lake. And then my nephew had to jump overboard and swim back to shore and pull the boat.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy, actually. But then we had a nice meal, and everybody was still pretty good. And that was all nice. But
It was the strangest 4th of July ever for me. It was so quiet.
Oh, because you're not allowed to have fireworks in Colorado,
No,
right?
I did hear somebody pop off a little bit of a round, but only one time. And so that's like, it was the quietest. And there was so much smoke in the air yesterday that we couldn't even go outside. So it was a really different 4th of July. We did crafts. Lame.
You should have came to Vegas. It was loud.
I'm sure it was. It was different. I'm going to make the best of Labor Day.
still loud here today. I can't believe the amount of money spent on fireworks. That just amazes me.
Yeah, they're still going off here, too.
Yep.
Our state banned the use of fireworks, but they did not ban the sale of fireworks.
Oh.
Just stupid.
So everybody's going to save them for
Labor Day?
I guess.
Assuming
Veterans
that
Day,
we haven't burned
maybe?
to pieces by then.
Yeah.
Yeah, so. What's up in Stockholm? Some difficulties this week?
Yeah, just the difficulties. We haven't had much updates to stuff, really. Yeah, it's just been kind of trying to keep up with servers, and some of them are out of our hands because we do co-located hosting, which means that we're dependent on somebody else to host that handles the hosting for us, and they've been undergoing a lot of network maintenance that, of course, they say should only last a very small amount of time until you're constantly getting messages that things are down. So
Not good.
Yep.
No, and people don't like it when their Spotcom scripts are down.
No, and just so people know, sometimes, like Jen said, the toolbar itself is actually hosted out in the cloud. Quote air finger quotes around my words. What should happen is it should theoretically be available 100% of the time. However, that hasn't worked the way that it's supposed to work. So, but if you are lucky enough to get the toolbar to work, when the main Spocklet.com is down, if you get into the toolbar and you go into the config, you can actually check the checkbox that says use the backup servers, which actually does go to another server elsewhere, which I guess is still technically in the cloud, but it's a different cloud, and you won't be dealing with the cumulus-nimulus cloud that was causing all the problems, and you got more fluffy, poofy white clouds that you can be dealing with when you go to the backup server. So anyway,
Which still sounds better than smoke clouds.
That's
so
right.
I have no idea what we're talking about. But
Yeah, we're just making stuff up as
Computer
the show
clouds.
goes on.
I know.
But
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
so
I'm
anyway,
sorry.
there's an option at least to get to the backup servers and then get Spocklets mostly to load. The other option is if you can get to any of the backup sites that we have the Spocklets hosted on, you can, or the links to them, you can actually go and download those backup locations and then actually host your own locally if you want to. We've never said that you can't do that. The only downside of that is that, if you move them all down to local copy to your own server and we make updates, you've got to always constantly remember to go do updates, which is quite a pain sometimes. So, but yeah.
It's funny when you can't use scripts to play. It's like, I just am finding I don't play as much. I just say, screw it, I'll wait till it's fixed.
Yeah.
No, you go to the Stockholm room and start saying, "What's wrong?"
Well, yeah, I do that too, but then
I can't do
Fix
anything.
it.
You
I'm gonna go
hijack
shopping.
all our wall posts for it doesn't work. No, but it's funny how dependent we really have become on the toolbar for linking to other scripts and everything else for convenience. I mean, I've noticed that too when the toolbar's not available. I'm like, well, how am I going to get the XYZ script?
Yeah, I kind of freaked earlier when
And I
I
gotta-
clicked on it and got nowhere, and I'm like, oh god.
Got to go back the old
yeah,
fashioned
I don't
way.
like running standalone scripts anymore. Like, I know I can do it, and I just choose to wait and not play.
Yeah.
Just hope that you come back in 10 minutes and people
Yeah.
or something. Somebody took care of it.
And another thing that I don't know who did this, if it was Facebook or Zynga, and I tried to explain it to the people at Zynga when we were asking about it, but I don't think they followed my logic. But there's something going on where if you're running anything else, like even the stream scanner, your gift collector, if you're doing something in the game, you can't open up another window and go to fight. And you can't fight manually either. So say I'm running the gift collector to collect my 250 gifts for the day. And even just now, I tried to use one of my mercenary bonuses in Brazil so I could level up. I go to the fight list to fight manually and it won't open. You can't fight. So the only way to be able to fight is to only fight. If that makes any sense. You can't be running other programs. And I really found that affected my playing time because it was too annoying. And I've been robbing a lot more, but I'd prefer to fight. We have a nice seasons going on. I finished it though, but I still like to fight because it burns my stamina faster when I use the Assassinator. I'm sure manually it takes forever. But the fact that, what they're requiring us to do, you have to multitask or you're not going to do it.
Yeah.
So now I have to take away from my gift opening time and stop fighting. And it just seems like my stamina's taking forever to burn now, which in turn makes me not have to need to buy stamina refills. And they should think about that because, if you're being penalized and you can't use all your stamina, well, you're not going to need more.
Right.
So that's less money for them. Do you know anything about this bug? I've heard it's something through Facebook. Zynga doesn't. They said they didn't change anything, that they did have some performance updates.
Yeah, but I speculate the performance updates to the fight module are what's causing the issue.
You think so?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I hope they would look into fixing it because it really is a problem.
Yeah.
Well, I thought that that's what they were going to focus on was fixes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only downside
I'm
I see,
waiting.
the only downside I see is that I worry that they think that this is an actual fix to prevent people from multitasking, and they'll try to implement it in greater detail elsewhere.
Yeah. And it could be.
And
But without multitasking, I don't see how, players who have been playing for a long time and have a lot of stamina can do it.
yeah, and it gets to the long-standing point of every time that they make changes like this, I know they think they're doing good, but what they end up doing is they force players away because, like you pointed out, is I'm not going to basically wait now. If I can't be doing two things, at once, and I don't mean that I'm sitting on a person and then, fighting them to death while I'm out there collecting my gifts, but, if I can't just do some general fighting and then turn around and at the same time go open up some gifts from the ZMC, whether or not I open them manually or whether or not I use the gift collector to do it, you can't do it either way.
And another funny thing we
That's
noticed is
definitely related to the fight module. So whatever performance enhancements
Yeah.
took place with it is in part of the problem. So
And if you have the check on your assassinator to auto collect your family progression, that action of collecting your family progression is going to kill your fighting. So the fight requests won't go through.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's been
it's
fixed,
you
though.
can't do. Yeah, I think Martin he added something that it would retry a
Right.
request for 5 seconds, I believe.
right.
But it's just something unnecessary that whatever they did, they really should rethink it and look into that.
Yep.
Hmm.
Or we're just going to start doing less and less in the game. I don't, granted, I'm on this computer way too many hours, but I don't devote all that time to just playing the game.
No, yeah, I think every one of us, including Mike Nestor, spends a lot more time doing all the other things and answering questions and trying to help people than we actually get to play.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
So it's like less scans I can do, less gifts I can open, and even I do my jobs while my stamina's running. I can't do that.
What a drag. I don't ever play in multiple windows like that. I don't know. I'm too basic.
It makes
I'm
it so
old
much
school.
easier. Well, and for me, it's tasks I wouldn't do otherwise. For quite some time, I never even crafted my properties because it was just something I didn't have time to do. But then when the property manager came around and easier ways in game to do it, I've consistently crafted them every day. Actually, it was family progression that got me.
Well, where it does affect even the manual player is you got someone that decides to run like a family history or a stats history or the Mafia manager, which does take several different queries in order to get a full data set of your Mafia. Then you decide while that's running, you're going to go over and do some manual fighting. You can't do the manual fighting because you're already performing another action in the game.
Mm-hmm.
That's a problem because there's no really fast way to collect that information on your Mafia, and unfortunately, Zynga has to come to an appreciation that there are people that want to know that kind of detail about their game, and if they're not going to make it an in-game feature, then the scripters are going to make up so that it answers the questions that players are asking. Who's active in my Mafia? Who can I get rid of? When was the last time somebody played that's in my Mafia, and all those different questions. And that's where tools like the Mafia Manager and things like that have come in handy. Or even stats history, that gives you a histogram of what's taken place within your particular gameplay over, the beginning of time since you started tracking your stats. I use it constantly to figure out what ratio to level. And that's information that's important to me because I want a serial level. So, now I need to decide, okay, well, what ratio do I want to maintain? And then when I have skill points to allocate, do I allocate them all? Or do I, keep at a certain ratio and then allocate some of them to attack and defense and so on? And if I've got if that script's running and I go to try to do some manual fighting while it's running, then, you can't do it. That's a problem.
It's a big problem.
It's a big problem.
They really need to fix it, or at least understand what we're talking about.
Yeah. So.
I don't think they do, though. I think that's the problem.
And I think it probably, just like some things, it's an inadvertent side effect of what changes they made, and they don't realize that it did it. I don't perceive that it was an intended change, and the side effect was what they were actually trying to do. They probably just did do something else that was affecting the requests as they were coming into the server, like when they changed and when they first created the burst mode. The intention was take a whole bunch of requests that come in from the same IP and same connection, and then turn around and bundle them together into one request, so that this way the system can handle the load a little bit better. And the same thing that they have with throttling of fight requests, so the most you can do during any given moment is XYZ. Then no matter how much you feed down the pipe at Zynga, they're not going to be able to do any more than that.
Right.
So I'm sure that they made this change with the same type of effort in mind. But I just think they got to get back to, create a core game, let us scripters build on it, enhance it, do all that stuff, and then let players play. Let us get back to what Mafia Wars was